Okay, so it's been a busy week. Just wrapped up moving the rest of my stuff up to my house. Long story short, I remember telling you all that, hey, I got a storage building at my mom's house full of stuff that I'll sell on eBay. And I thought that the building company, one of the companies in town that, not only delivers buildings if you buy from their company, but they will move buildings if needed. But turns out I had to empty it out before they can move it. So the only thing left in there is a bunch of empty cardboard boxes and plastic bins, for eBay stuff to ship it. And I had to make like 23 trips this week. Like, what was it, 7 or 8 Monday, 6 or 7 Wednesday, and then another 8 today. But I finally finished it up. And everything's in the house. So my house is a warehouse, if you will, until the building gets moved next week. So I haven't had time to really interact with the comments on my videos like I, can do since I'm not posting as much because Sistas is off the air. But I wanted to talk about the response I got to the season 7 retrospective where I mentioned my season ranking or my new season ranking, and then my post I put on social media either yesterday or Wednesday. And it had to do with the placement of season 7. I feel like I do this every season. Well, yeah, I update my season ranking, but it's almost like I always have to re-explain why my rankings are the way they are. Now, I honestly don't need to talk about seasons 1 and 2. You know that each season I say the same thing. It depends on the day which season I feel is better than the other one. If you remove the Jasmine factor, I think season 2 is better than season 1 because I love me some Jasmine. But at the same time, I do feel like these 2 seasons, it's sad that the show was at its peak during its early run. That's really all I have to say about that. Like I said, 1 and 2 could switch spots any day of the week. Season 6, even though the first half was kind of rough, I still applaud Tyler for the back half, seemingly developing the characters, introducing new characters. Sad to say, though, everything that happened in Season 6B, for the most part, kind of got scrapped as soon as Season 7 came about. Season 4, it's middle. I think it's like in that fine line of, hey, it's mid, but in a good way. There's a lot to like about it. Some stuff I don't like, but I think it's pretty decent. Season 7, to me, it is not the worst. I've said it a few times before. I don't think that Season 7 is the worst season of the show, but it is indeed the most disappointing season of the show. And let me talk about my number 6 and 7 slot, and then I'll talk about Season 7 some more. Season 3, some people said, like, Jeremy, Season 3 should either be higher than Season 7 or at least a bit, higher on your list. Season 3... this was the beginning of the end for Karen, because I still say that mid-season finale where Zach presented her with that $72,000 check to quote-unquote pay back his debt to her, what he owed her, and this, that, and the third. And they had such a mature, clean split. Zach let it be known that I'm going after Fatima with my whole heart, and Karen was like, part of me wants to say, look, let's just go back to my place and work things out. But we've done that too many times before that we know it's just going to not end up good in the long run. And it's almost like she, quote unquote, gave Zach her blessing to move forward. And if I remember correctly, Zach like kissed her on the cheek or something. And it was beautiful. It was beautiful. But then season 3B is when all of a sudden I need him to tell me that he's moved on, that he don't want me no more. This was the end of Karen, which led to the very end of the season, which was her announcing her pregnancy. Tyler just assassinated Karen after this. This was awful. That back half, oh my gosh. It was difficult to sit through at times. Season 5, look. Season 7 wins the award for the most inconsistent misconceptions, or no. Season 7 wins for having the most poor depictions of the characters. Like, the writers don't know who these characters really are. But at the same time, season 5 did Fatima. Believe it or not, I think Fatima's characterization in season 5 is the main reason why I hated this season. And on top of that, Zach and Fatima, I'm not one to clock every single moment of Zatima screen time, but I think season 5 was debatably the season with the most Zach and Fatima scenes, but about 97% of these scenes were arguments, mainly from Fatima being, I hate to say it, but a real bitch. I mean, I remember I got a lot of flack when I said early on, dang, Fatima's acting like Karen. And people were mad at me. But then when Zach accidentally called her Karen at the gym, because, yeah, in the heat of the moment, it makes sense. Not only was Karen's name dropped like 30 times in the span of 10 seconds, but the way Fatima was coming at Zach was the same way Karen would. So, yeah, that's why I think season 5 is the worst. But in terms of season 7, what did I say before in my retrospective? Season 7 was the most ambitious season. But it's kind of funny where season 6, the last Tyler season, the first half was just ugh. But then the back half had a lot of promise. But then season 7, the first half had a lot of promise, but then it didn't deliver in the back half. So, I don't know. You could argue like, well, why isn't season 7 up there with season 6? Because I don't feel like it has the rewatchability factor. So, and people always ask me like, which seasons do you rewatch the most? You got to look at it from my perspective. This is my job. I watch these episodes religiously when they air, take my notes, I do my breakdowns, and I do several, if not well over a dozen videos per week. It's rare that I go back and rewatch a show like Sistas for recreational purposes. Like, well, you know what? I'm chilling. I want to watch Sistas. No, I will watch something else. And that's not because I don't like the show. It's because I do this. When I watch an episode, I pick the damn thing apart. Now, that doesn't mean me going back to like season 2 wouldn't mean I wouldn't find something new. Like, oh, well, hey, that thing paid off in season 5. But again, you got to look at it from my perspective. How many of you work a job where it's like, hey, I work at McDonald's, and when you're off work, you want to eat McDonald's? No, you probably want to eat somewhere else. And I'm not making fun of fast food workers, because my first job was a summer job at a Bojangles. And I remember I worked there a month. And after I quit, I did not eat Bojangles for like 2 years, if not more. It's because, no, when I'm off the clock, I don't want anything to remind me of it. So, yeah, I rewatched the Jasmine bits. I got it bad. I'm sorry, but not sorry. Kind of like with Gene on the Oval. But yeah, that's pretty much why I rank the seasons the way I do. Don't get me wrong. There are some people who have like number 3 at their number 1 spot, or they got seasons 1 and 2 towards the bottom of their respective lists. And that's okay. I love reading people's comments, because sometimes you'll explain why you like a particular season, and the reason being might be something I completely forgot about or didn't take into consideration. But to wrap things up, just remember that whenever I do these like rankings and whatnot, here's how I always do it. A season could have like a banger of a finale and whatnot, but if, 20 of the 22 episodes were filler trash, that doesn't mean it's a good season. It means it had like 1 or 2 strong episodes, but other than that, no. But yeah, that's all I have. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video.